Discipline is coming down in the NFL. We hear it all the time. Like, hey, this guy got caught up on this. They ruled on this. It's a 3-game suspension. It's a 1-game suspension. It's a half-year suspension. Or if we're going back to like the Josh Gordon days, guy got suspended every single year for smoking weed. But this one, we're talking about Rashee Rice. And this is big news because the Kansas City Chiefs, who got wasted by the Philadelphia Eagles, looking to come back this season, much healthier at the wide receiver position and more weapons here. One of those weapons is Rashee Rice, coming off of an injury, but now also possibly for a suspension. Adam Schefter tweeted yesterday, ESPN sources, Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is expected to have his disciplinary hearing with the NFL on Tuesday, September 30th in New York. This means that Rice now is likely to be able to play the first 4 weeks of this season before any potential discipline is imposed for his role in a multi-car crash in Dallas during the 2024 season. So we know he's probably going to get suspended, Joe. September 30th is the hearing. Now, a lot of people work for the NFL. There's not an overwhelming about, like we talk like the criminal justice system. Like, we have 30,000 cases we got to get to before yours. I'm pretty sure the NFL doesn't have this. We knew Rashee Rice got in trouble since 2024 in that car wreck. Why are we still waiting? And also from a Chiefs perspective, you're going to have this hearing during the season? Like the kid's going to play 3-4 weeks and it's going to be gone for 5 or 6 weeks? How can this happen? And why doesn't this hearing happen over the summer, Joe? It's simple to me.
Well, let's deconstruct it. You ready? First question I would ask, Donnie, is what are the first 4 games exactly for the Kansas City Chiefs this season? Let's see. Well, they go to Sao Paulo, Brazil to take on the Chargers in game 1.
Okay.
So he'll be there for that. Then they got week 2 at home against the champion Philadelphia Eagles, who wiped them across the field last year. Then it's a Sunday night football game, big primetime game against the Giants.
Yep.
And then they're at home against the Baltimore Ravens, a team they likely might face in the playoffs again, as usual. So, there's 4 pretty important games if I'm Kansas City that I don't want to start 0-4. So I want to go ahead and give myself the best chance at winning. And, well, Rashee Rice, like it or not, he's a game changer for them, and he will be available for those games.
It is interesting. Like, if you were, though, let's just say you're Andy Reid, you're Brett Veach. The NFL comes to you and goes, hey, look, we can delay this a little bit. Or would you rather understand exactly right now what you have for the first 4 games and then be able to move on from that when it's done? Because for me, player and also coach and organization, I'd rather have that suspension start, Joe. I've got to be honest, 1 through 4 games. It's almost like you made a trade and you get him back. Like, if you build that rhythm in training camp and the first 4 games and then it's taken away, like, yes, other guys will have to step up. We get that. But it's almost like you want that momentum to start and do nothing, Joe, but gain throughout the rest of the season. Because Rashee Rice is not a 7-year all-pro player. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to pick it right up. Flashes, injury, now suspension. It's a choppy mix to his early career. I would just like to see him sat down for the first 4 games and then play if I'm Andy Reid.
Well, it's interesting, the timing of all of this, right? Because he was just sentenced last month, right? So about 3 weeks ago that we finally learned that it's 5 years probation, 30 days in jail. So we know that handled. But the NFL never makes a decision on suspensions until everything is settled in the courts and the legal matter. So now that is finally done, now they can put it on the docket for the same woman, I believe, who's going to overhear this, a former U.S. District Judge, Sue L. Robinson, and whatever her schedule, apparently, maybe that was the first opening. But she's the same one that overheard the Deshaun Watson case, which is 3-4 years ago now. So they don't have a ton of these. So apparently this was the first available opportunity for them to be able to get in front of her.
Team total here for the Chiefs this year, Joe, 11.5. You take a look at the Super Bowl price point here, an 8-1. The one thing that used to take a look at the Chiefs were the ability to strike first and strike quick. When they had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, a much younger Travis Kelce, they were absolutely electric on offense. We've missed that part. But it seems like speed is back in order at the wide receiver position for Kansas City when all 3 of those wideouts are there. Worthy on one side, electric speed downfield. Marquise Hollywood-Brown, electric speed on the outside. Rashee Rice, able to be that slot wide receiver with also speed to get downfield. There's a lot to like about this Chiefs offense, which I'm interested to see how this is going to take place early in the season. But also, if Rashee Rice gets off to a great start, like let's just say, Joe, first 4 games, 32 catches, a few hundred yards, and a few touchdowns, then taking that away and losing that momentum, it will be interesting to watch. But you're overlooking the Chiefs on the season. It's still Andy Reid. It's still Patrick Mahomes. They're going to win games, but it is kind of fun. It's like, hey, look, man, these guys got primetime games right off the bat. Let's settle down. Now, the second 4 games, not as big as the first 4 games. So sometimes you feel like there is something to that. And you pointed it out. Marquee game number 1 right off the bat, international market, major eyeballs, ratings bonanza. And then you do have the Super Bowl rematch in game number 2. So it is good for the NFL to say, okay, Chiefs, we'll let you go 100% in those first couple games where the most eyeballs of the entire season are going to be in early September.
Those first 4 games, that's a brutal start to the season here. The next 4 games that you mentioned or that you look at there, 2 of them against, I think, the NFC, right? Because you have Detroit and Washington, I believe, somewhere in there. And then you sandwich in Jacksonville and the Raiders. Listen, Rashee Rice, you're beating Jacksonville and the Raiders and all. I like my chances if I'm Kansas City. And who cares if we lose the NFC teams, right? What is the big deal there? I would much rather, if we're going to lose him, and they will lose him, and what we're all thinking is 4 games here, then it best be games, 5 through 8 as opposed to 1 through 4.
Doesn't it feel, though, Joe, like the Kansas City Chiefs were always in the AFC Championship game? Feels like always in the Super Bowl, multiple times winning the Super Bowl. It's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Is this a year that a lot of people are finally starting to overlook the Chiefs, if you will? Because nobody's done that for the past 5 years. Oh, the Chiefs still end up being there. The Chiefs still have a good price. But for me, it was like that Buffalo Bills vibe. Like, boy, I had them as the it team for 2 years. Now they're starting to fall off, and that's when they surprise you. Are we undervaluing the Chiefs this year?
Do so at your own detriment. I mean, we did this for how many decades with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the Patriots? How many times every year are like, nope, ain't doing it this year. This is the year they want. Yeah, okay. Yeah, keep doing it with Mahomes. Like, if we learn nothing in past indiscretions there, Donnie.
Exactly. Maybe we don't. Maybe it's Kansas City's year. Maybe they come back with a vengeance. They're certainly shooting for that. But Rashee Rice, we'll see how long that suspension's going to last. Quinshon Judkins, suspension or no suspension? Let's play that game next. Lawyer up, baby. It's the early line right now. And I guess we could play like charges or no charges at this point right now because the NFL is trying to sort out some things, which includes some superstar players that we hope can help their franchises. Maybe more than not because they won't miss a lot of games. A Jordan Schultz report yesterday says sources, the Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins will not face any formal charges as prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case. This clears the way for him to return to the team, and I'm told should likely happen in the near future. Judkins, superstar running back from Ohio State, got a little bit of trouble in the offseason, has not signed his contract, but the expectations, he's going to be back sooner than later in that Browns backfield, Joe.
Yeah, it will. And, listen, just because the state's prosecutor has looked at the evidence and looked at this and said, you know what, there's nothing here, we're not moving forward with charges, doesn't mean that the NFL doesn't have the right still to step in if their investigators feel that where there is smoke, there is fire here. So it'll be interesting to see. This is only one half of the equation, Donnie. We know the NFL can step in at any time and be like, yeah, you know what? He's going to be suspended a couple of games.
No, Joe brings up a great topic right there because the NFL, they sort of operate under the shield. You can be accused. If it makes the league look bad, you fall under that, the NFL clause to sort of kick in at that point. There's no say where he's going to be gone 1, 2, 3, or 4 games. Maybe it's almost like a probationary period. You get that letter behind the scenes, don't do it again, and you'll be suspended. But make no mistake about this. Like some people like, hey, fantastic, cleared of all charges. The NFL still could come down with a 1-game suspension. But this is one of the players where has staying away from the team. Big results are expected this year and a good rookie campaign. Looks like he'll be able to get back into camp and slide right into it. I wonder what his contract is going to look at that he already had some legal issues where if this was a Cincinnati Bengals or a guy Shamar, I mean, that guy would never be signed at this point.
No, and I got to tell you, they need him, too, because they have Jerome Ford as the running back right now in camp. Like, he's it. He's in the final year of his rookie deal. He even took a pay cut just to make sure that he actually was guaranteed a roster spot.
Smart.
Pierre Strong Jr. is the other guy, but he's a special teamer. So they need, the reason they got Judkins was to be the guy, right? To give them some options in the backfield. And if you're only going to have Jerome Ford in the backfield for a while, that's they're going to have to be signing some guys sooner rather than later.
Whew, Travion Henderson in that backfield with Quinshon, Judkins last year for Ohio State. Both of these guys looking to make big impacts in the pros, and maybe Judkins can finally get his career underway here. I'll tell you, he doesn't have his career underway just yet, playing a lot of action. That's Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ian Rappaport's tweet yesterday, the Steelers coach Mike Tomlin tells reporters that veterans such as Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Cam Ward won't play in their second preseason game, amongst others here. Trying to stay fresh. It's a veteran locker room. You know what's important in Pittsburgh. It's not winning a Super Bowl. It's making sure you secure that 9th win of the season. That's what they're trying to do here, Joe. Slow and steady. Stay healthy. We'll all eventually get there.
Oh, let's be realistic here. It's, who they got this week in preseason here, Donnie. Who they playing in week 2 of this preseason? Because... that's whoever it is, because they've been running joint camps here all week. Tampa, right? So, and we already know Todd Bowles is a guy that wants nothing to do with playing starters during the preseason. He's another guy that you'd be lucky to see anybody on the Tampa side that actually means anything come this season. So, you got to do that. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still trying to figure out how to fit the helmet on his head. So, he looks like Lord Helmet, and he's not happy about it. So, there's some issues going on with Pittsburgh right now.
By the way, remember when Antonio Brown was burning his feet and taking balloon rides into camp and not showing up and then threatening to sue the NFL because he couldn't use his helmet, then eventually getting cut and finding his way to the New England Patriots? Those were fun times. We're not saying Aaron Rodgers is going to do that same thing, but play out the scenario for me, Joe. Sunday, 1 p.m. kickoff, and that's September 7th. The New York Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What happens if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose to the New York Jets week number 1?
Oh, it's going to be fun. And don't think there won't be some juice in that building. But, I mean, the reality is different regime, different time, different everything there for the Jets. But don't forget, Fields was a former Pittsburgh Steeler not too long ago as well. So interesting week 1 matchup.
And by the way, the whole backdrop of this is fantastic with these two quarterbacks. But let's remember this. The Steelers wanted Justin Fields. He's like, dude, I'm out of here, man. You hated me? I'm going to the Jets. That should be a fun one. You know what else is fun? Preseason action tonight, people. Come on back. Get excited, Joe. Now, times have changed in the NFL. Sonny writes out at Joe Ranieri. It's the early line. Your cup of Joe early in the morning, and away we go. It used to be like preseason game number 1, nobody played. Preseason game number 2, starters got like a snap. Preseason game number 3, oh, look, we might play a quarter. Preseason game number 4, nobody plays anything. But now we're condensed into 3 games where a lot more practices and joint practices take place. So you get what you get in these preseason games. But now with the hey, guys, we've taken it too easy over the past couple preseasons. Maybe we should play some starters. Does add to the intrigue. But there's no longer, Joe, like the formula we used to flow through. Like, wait a second. The only game you could probably bet and get a really good feel on is game number 3, because the coaches will tell you, X and O's, we're going to game plan. Starters are going to play for maybe a first half. Like, oh, this might be intriguing to tune into. How do we approach like week 2 of the preseason when you're trying to read what the coaches are doing, but we don't have that 15 years of, hey, we only play 3 preseason games, and this is the way it always goes down?
Well, I mean, listen, you pay attention, right? You do your research, you do your homework, and you have a understanding of what teams are trying to accomplish here in the preseason. I mean, there is a reason, Donnie, why, and I don't think it was a fluke, that we got how many overs in week 1 of the preseason? I mean, every game, especially in the second half, whether starters were in or not, was going over. And the reason is also the defensive side of the ball across the board in week 1. There a lot of cover 2, they weren't really doing a whole heck of a lot. So offenses were able to go out there. Everything was a 2-minute drill, it felt
Mm-hmm.
like. Everybody was trying to execute, hurry up offenses, and that's why we got a ton of points. So whether starters play or don't play, I don't know that changes. That concept changes this week. I think we're going to get a lot of up-tempo, the stuff that matters come the regular season that you
Yeah.
necessarily can't practice that in real time, at a Tuesday afternoon practice across from your teammates. Like, this is the stuff that I think teams have decided they're going to be working on. And that leads to a lot more points because the defenses aren't trying to mix up the offenses right now.
No, and it'll be interesting to see, too, because we'll take a look at the first game tonight. Tennessee Titans at the Atlanta Falcons. The line for the Titans, they are favored at -3.5 points, and a total listed at over 37.5. I know you can't really judge, Joe, like game number 1 to game number 2. Titans got smashed. Cam Warren had a couple snaps. Maybe he gets more tonight at this point. But there's a reason why odds makers have put the Tennessee Titans at a -3.5. Like, we're not going to see a lot of Michael Penix. Do we get to see Kirk Cousins in this game? Are the Falcons just saying we're going to sit this one out? Because there's sometimes where you read the tea leaves, and early in the week, like we'll get to the Kansas City Chiefs game in just a few moments, where Big Red's like, hey, you know what? I don't think, Patrick Mahomes is playing. Instant line move. There's a reason where the Titans got smashed in week number 1. Now we're on the road in a preseason game number 2 and are 3.5-point favorites here, Joe.
Yeah, and we already know Cam Ward's going to be back under center again for this one. What do you go? 5 of 8, 67 yards. Him and Calvin Ridley seem to be on the same page there. He's not going to play as long as he did in the first game, but they said he's going to be out there for a couple of series. And yes, when you have young quarterbacks like Cam Ward, who are the possible future, yes, we are told that Penix Jr. won't play for the Falcons here. We're also being told there's a whole lot of other starters now that won't be in the game for the Falcons here tonight. And that's fine. But Cam Ward is going to play because they've got to get him up to speed quickly here as the NFL season regular. The games are going to start mattering here in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of individual player props for games here, but some outlets do allow us to do that. If we take a look at FanDuel, Cam Ward to throw a touchdown pass on his first offensive drive is a +460 price. Tony Pollard to score a touchdown on his first offensive drive is a +650. I don't necessarily love those type of props because first of all, it's hard to score a touchdown in an NFL game anyway, let alone, okay, I'm going to take the opening drive and go down the field. At least, the defense is probably tuned up and excited and ready to go. But the Tennessee Titans, Joe, to throw 1 touchdown pass in this entire game is -400. And to throw 2 touchdown passes as a team, it's a +130. If they're the favorites and we have a total around 40 points, you could probably factor in what? At least 3 touchdowns possibly for the Titans today? Do we think 1 or 2 at least can come from the pass?
Yeah, I think that's, each team has got something to work on coming into this week, right? And we didn't see a whole lot from the passing game with Cam Ward. I mean, it was nice, but I think maybe they open it up a little bit, push the ball down the field. One of Cam Ward's traits here is that he can air it out. He's got a pretty good deep ball. We'll see if they take a few shots here and give him an opportunity to get something going.
Let's take some shots here. Game number 2. That's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Seattle Seahawks, Joe. And we had some line movement this week where you saw the Kansas City Chiefs were favorites here. The minute you start talking about, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is playing, you knew that line was going to swing. So let's just say a -2.5, -3-point favorite for the Chiefs has quickly turned into a 3-point dog price for the Kansas City Chiefs, and a total sitting there at 39.5. Some fun bets in this one. Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Cooper Kupp. Everybody to score a touchdown on their first drive. If Darnold throws a touchdown on the first offensive drive, that's a +330. But you could double up, Joe. Somebody's got to catch it. If it is Jackson Smith-Njigba, 11-1. Cooper Kupp, 14-1. Any belief here that the Chiefs looking to sit their starters is a positive for the Seahawks, and that's why you should play the Seahawks tonight.
Yeah, and listen, last week we saw against, Arizona, the Chiefs played, where we got both Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes and the starters out there for the game. You and I laughed. We said, yeah, we'll take the first half over here if they're going to push the starters in this one. Probably not going to get a lot of that one here, right? I mean, this one I think will be a lot of Gardner Minshew kind of situation here. I think that the backups are going to be on full display in this game here tonight. And quite honestly, if I'm Kansas City, what am I looking for outside of maybe a couple of reps here or there from Mahomes and the starters? I really need to figure some other things out.
Yeah, you got 39.5 as a total in this game. If we're just looking for the Kansas City Chiefs to throw one touchdown pass in the game, it's a minus 330 price. If we switch that over to Seattle, that's a minus 400 price. Rushing touchdowns, which you see a lot. Like some of these teams, they get inside the 5-yard line. They're going to run it 4 straight times. First down yard, second down yard, third down yard. Oh, look, 4th and goal at the 6-inch line. We're not kicking a field. We're not throwing a pass. Let's run it in again. For Seattle to have one rushing touchdown tonight, minus 330. Kansas City, 1+ rushing touchdowns, a minus 122. I'm just good at FanDuel numbers here, but you can't parlay them together. Like I would actually, if you told me, say, Don, do you think Seattle's going to have a rushing touchdown? Yeah, I do. Same thing with the Chiefs. Absolutely. It'd be nice to parlay that into plus money, but you can't do that and you're laying heavy juice. What are you more comfortable, Joe? Like just not, I'm talking about tonight, like Seattle and let's just say Kansas City. If you had to pick, do you like the angle of touchdown passes in a preseason game or actually rushing touchdowns in a preseason game?
Yeah, well, it depends on the quarterbacks, right, and what the offense is trying to do. But given the state of what we saw in Week 1, Donnie, in the preseason, where the just utter lack of anything other than a cover 2 and some prevent defenses here, yeah, it's. I would opt to say that teams might have a better chance of airing it out and throwing more touchdowns than anything else.
Yeah, taking a look here at the Kansas City Chiefs quarterbacks outside of obviously Patrick Mahomes, Gardner Minshew, Bailey Zappi, Chris Oladokun, and then, of course, Patrick Mahomes at this point. So a lot of backups looking to get some action and run. I understand this, too. Like, they're trying to make the football team, even if it is Gardner Minshew. He's not going to go out there like, hey, man, don't let me throw the football. Let me hand it off. Like, these guys want a gunsling out here. It'll be interesting to see how this game does play out if Patrick Mahomes does not start. But whenever Andy Reid is up in the air on something, you can't trust it. I mean, I've known for years when he was with the Eagles, Donovan McNabb's going to play that first half. 6 plays, 52 yards, a field goal. Okay, bring him out for the game. Like, whoa, Big Red. Thought he was playing the whole half. He played one series. You always have to take these coachings with a grain of salt here, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you really do. Week 2 is about cleaning up mistakes from Week 1 as well, Donnie. A lot of that could be going on this week also.
Let's go on a watch list here for this weekend because it is a full slate of preseason games, a Sunday night football game. Let's look at Caleb Williams. Joe loves Caleb Williams. He wants Joe saying MVP Caleb. Talk about it next. Remember the TV guy, Joe Ranieri's, we date ourselves here. Like, hey, man, what's on TV? Like, you know how good you have it today, kids, where you actually have to just change the channel to find something on and stumble onto a good show. And if you were lucky enough as a kid to get HBO, because it was a luxury in the 1980s, you just had to wait on the see, like, okay, this movie's on. Maybe I'll catch this movie. You have no idea. Now we have everything at our fingertips here to say, you know what? We need a new TV guy. That new TV guy, Joe, is the early line. We got to get you ready so you understand what's going to happen this weekend across the NFL landscape. Tonight, we have 2 football games we just previewed. One at 7 o'clock. It's Tennessee and Atlanta. One at 10 o'clock at night. Kansas City and Seattle. Fantastic. Back-to-back. You can watch them and enjoy yourself. We have a plethora of football games starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday on the preseason schedule and ending with the last game at 9:30. Then, Joe, we're souping you up. You got to get ready for Sunday football. It's coming right around the corner. You got 2 games on Sunday. Jacksonville, New Orleans, Buffalo, and Chicago. And you know what else you have, Joe? Monday Night Football from D.C., Cincinnati, and Washington. The NFL is giving you what you want Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Joe.
Yeah, and a couple of games of interest on this week's list, right? Number 1, we know Shedeur Sanders and his oblique injury kind of throws a wrench into things. However, it does appear that Dylan Gabriel will be healthy enough, and we'll get our first look at him for the Browns. But on the other side, my goodness, Mr. Tanner McGee looked like he could be a starter for any NFL team this year for your Eagles. And I doubt very much we're getting any of Jalen Hurts again in this one. So what are we expecting from the Eagles against the Browns in this one here? Donnie, what are you hearing?
Yeah, but -1.5, Joe, at the opening number. Then all of a sudden, Shedeur Sanders doesn't play, and we jump to 4 at most outlets right now. Shedeur Sanders, the key cog and the ingredients there for the Cleveland Browns, a very vanilla scheme. Because, and again, anytime, Joe, it's relatively new, like in the past decade, where these teams practice against each other, put all that hard work in. and then tell the fans, like, yeah, you're going to pay full price for this ticket, but we don't care about this. We only cared about the practices. The NFL still gets over on these preseason games, but I expect very vanilla schemes out of both of these. And I was looking forward to, hey, how's Shedeur Sanders going to back up that week number 1 and the week number 2? Does he play well again? Is he really pushing Joe Flacco? Does Stefanski want to make him the starter into the NFL season? Those are things I think we get robbed of maybe a major storyline that we could have taken a look at. But there are a lot of intriguing matchups through the weekend and watching some of these quarterbacks that are going to progress. But I do like the fact that we are getting, because as much as the NFL needs practice, like for the players and dress rehearsals, we get that now, Joe, this weekend with primetime action. Like Sunday Night Football. That's the Sunday Night Football crew doing Buffalo and Chicago. That's the Monday Night crew doing Cincinnati and Washington. I love that because it gives us that feel and the vibe of the bigness that's going to come back. Was there a game that you were looking at this weekend, like matchup-wise, that you really wanted to get involved in? Because I knew last week coming in, like the rookie quarterbacks, that's always going to be something that we want to watch. Like Jets and the Giants. Like, hey, who's going to win that game? I mean, it's not really a battle for New York in the preseason, but can I say a little Jackson Dart? Liked what I saw with him against the Buffalo Bills. Does he get a little bit more PT? Or is it one of those, like, we promised Russ the starting job, let's not put Dart in good situations because the fans are going to get upset up right away? Like, those are the things I'm interested in this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see what happens there. I mean, the Jets, obviously, new regime, new head coach, new attitude. They are certainly taking, it appears, the preseason to heart, and I don't think the level of toughness in that game is going to be interesting. But like you said, rookie quarterback situation there. We've got a couple of backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Situations that have to be rectified. Like Hendon Hooker is not working out for the Detroit Lions here. If he is going to be Jared Goff's backup, I mean, Dan Campbell just pulled him. I think he pulled him early in last week's game. Kyle Allen, I mean, there are some teams where we got to figure it out. Who's backing up Tua? Quinn Ewers couldn't, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat there. So there are a few teams and a few games in which we better figure out, is Zach Wilson really the guy backing up Tua? Boy, oh boy, Dolphin fans holding their breath, but we'll figure it out after this week's game for sure.
I'm telling you, the Dolphins are a balloon with a bunch of kids looking to pop that balloon right now and end their season. You want to have a week-to-week soap opera, just watch the Miami Dolphins this year. The vibe's got to be like an all-time low, and that is just an absolute powder keg. Now, granted, in the preseason, not really care if they wins or losses at this point. Stacking up doesn't matter. I can't wait to watch them in the regular season. But let's focus, Joe. Sunday Night Football. You know who that is with? Buffalo Bills and the Chicago Bears. Big dealings. Why? Caleb Williams, maybe some extensive playing time that we're going to watch in front of a national audience. I know you're not supposed to do this. He was a rookie last year. It's a new head coach this year. It's a brand new system getting put in. But doesn't it always feel like we watch Caleb Williams in a referendum game? Like, if he goes out on Sunday Night Football and really struggles, this guy can't play. Or if he plays really well, like, whoa, Bears look like they're on something. Like, this feels like this game has way too much hype, and there is a reason why the NFL put this on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, there is. And listen, there, Ben Johnson and company, we get a look at the new Caleb Williams, who, by all indications, and for what I'm reading, Donnie, is having a hard time picking up Ben Johnson's system now during practices. So we'll see what happens in real game here. And by the way, let's not forget, Sean McDermott, he's pretty good in preseason games. He is another guy that thinks winning is a culture. He wants to be competitive. He pushes his teams. And while, listen, are we going to get Josh Allen, James Cook? Are we going to get the starters for a while in this week? Probably not. But I have a whole lot of confidence in the Bills' backups here to keep this game very close with the possibility of them winning it in the second half.
How about Baltimore and Dallas, show? Micah Parsons, think he signs, gets in that uniform, gets a couple pass rushes here, getting on against the Buffalo Bills, against the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. What do you say about that one?
Yeah, no, probably not. He'll not be on the field, Donnie, I think. What does it say if he does get to the field without a contract extension, without a new deal? What message is that sending to Jerry, who has him under contract anyway? But he ain't risking anything going out on that field.
By the way, was it Chris Jones last year, or the year before, who like didn't sign late, and then they actually had the picture of him like his agent watching the football game
Yeah.
from the stands in week number 1? That would be fantastic. Micah Parsons in Philadelphia watching from the stands in an Eagles jersey. How about that twist? Let's keep it in Philadelphia, Tom. We got a huge weekend coming up in preseason action, which does start tonight. 2 games tonight, Tom. Full slate Saturday. We got Sunday night football and even Monday night football action. Love to see that. But the regular season is fast approaching. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys on the opening Thursday night. Tell me you got some action possibly on a Philadelphia Eagles player here with a prop we should all be looking at.
Yeah, let's go to Jalen Hurts over 31.75.5 passing yards on the entire season. Now, last year he finished with 2,903, 2,903 passing yards. He did miss a game, or I should say 2 games at the end of the season. He left that game versus the Commanders early. I'm looking at this as a totality of what we're going to get from the Eagles. 5 starters on defense are not there anymore. And this is not to say that the starters or the players stepping into the starting roles weren't on the team last year, but I'm going to say the Eagles defense is weaker than it was last year. Not bad, just a little bit weaker. Also, I don't expect Saquon Barkley to be pushing to 2,000 rushing yards every single season. So if his yards are scaled back, the defense is a little bit weaker. They're not playing from in front as much later in games. That just means Hurts has to pass the ball a little bit more. 20 yards here, 30 yards there. So when we need an extra 300 for him to go from 2,903 last year to get to essentially 3,200, again, it's not 300 yards in one game. We're talking about 20 or 30 yards here or there. They pass it just a little bit more. They keep Saquon healthy late in the season. Their defense is just a little bit weaker. And all it adds up to Hurts having a better passing year than he did last year. So over 31.75 Hurts passing yards for the season.